Other Aussie took to the stage.
Yeah, so what they do, they have an interval act. During the live broadcast, they have an interval act. I guess it's just really to keep the audience who are there engaged and happy and having fun. And it was our very own Gojo, Milkshake Man from last year. Now, the premise of the comedy skit they were doing, which I got to admit has had a kind of mixed reaction, it sounds good on paper. The premise of the skit was Australia versus Austria, the things that people get mixed up with between the two countries. So it was a good attempt at playing on that. It got to Gojo back on stage over there again. So here is a little of the hype for the comedy skit.
All right, everyone, on behalf of Eurovision, we are sick and tired of everyone getting Australia and Austria confused. So, Australia, Tim Tams! Austria, Schnitzel! Australia, Dynamite! Austria, Sheepdog!
So, you know, I guess you had to be there at the time. So the countries that were eliminated, there were 15 acts that had performed in the last few hours. That's now been whittled down to 10. So the eliminated acts are Estonia, Georgia, Montenegro, Portugal and San Marino. Now, why San Marino's an interesting one is because Boy George was their big star act. And he was up on stage with another local act from San Marino. San Marino, for those who don't know, is a very small republic. It's a landlocked republic. It is completely surrounded by Italy. I think it's the 5th smallest country in the world. And I must say, it's a really catchy song that Boy George co-wrote, but sadly, that didn't get through. So Boy George is out. I'm sure he'll take that very well. Now, there was, as always, there's got to be a bit of drama, right? There was a protester when Israel were up on stage performing. There was a protester before, during and after the performance who decided to create a scene and make a protest and had to be encouraged to leave the building. By the way, Israel did get through, so they are through for the next semi-final, which takes place Friday morning our time. So obviously Friday morning sunrise will be across it and we'll be across it because we hope and we pray and we believe that Delta is going to get through. Delta, as I said, very busy. She's working it. She's doing all the media. This is very much an escaping the rain too. You can see there. Well, apart from anything else, apart from getting her lovely clothes wet, you wouldn't want to catch a cold at this point in time, would you? So the countdown is on. 48 hours from now, we'll know exactly where Delta sits.
There's so much good hype around her too, isn't there? So fingers crossed for Delta. America's late-night talk show hosts have united.
Yeah, so this is, I guess, to celebrate and commemorate, whatever the right word is, Stephen Colbert's soon-to-happen departure from the late-night TV scene. Now, we learnt late July that his contract was not being renewed. There's been various theories as to why that is, but certainly to get 10 months' notice in the world of television is a somewhat rare result. But look at this. This is Strike Force 5, they've called it. You've got the two Jimmys there. You've got John Oliver. You've got Seth Meyers. And, of course, you've got Stephen Colbert. So getting together, having fun, you know, a lot of egos all on the one set, but they played it really well. Here's a little of their interaction.
We're wrapping. We're over at this point. We've already done our 20.
You got a bunch of short timers working here right now.
Let's keep going, baby. Let's keep going. Boo!
This is exactly what people hate about you.
The demands and the pressures of these jobs are different than anything I expected. And you guys have been wonderful friends and great models for me. And I'm so glad to know and love all of you. Thank you so much for being here.
So a rare thing to get the networks all to agree to do that. And in fact, Jimmy Kimmel is not going to go to air as Colbert's show, very last show, goes to air as a sign of respect. So again, that's a big deal. That's a lot of advertising. They'll put on a repeat instead for the night.
I want to know who got the second biggest change room.
Yeah,
Colbert's got the big one, then there's the next big one for the big stars, and then they go down to like smaller ones.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Good stuff. Hey, Pete, the Cannes Film Festival has kicked off.
It is, and going really well, as always, over the top, always glamorous. Demi Moore there. She's on the judging panel this year, looking great as always. Jane Fonda there, attending purely as a guest, legendary acting figure, of course, she is these days. Heidi Klum is there, always brings the glam to the red carpet. Now, one thing I did think's interesting that I've picked up on is they are doing a kind of relaunch for The Deb, the much talked about Rebel Wilson directed movie, which, of course, course, got a release here in Australia. It didn't do anything at all, but they are kind of relaunching it at Cannes. They're looking for a European distributor. Just in the last few hours, it's been announced that despite all the legal battles that are surrounding this movie, which has kind of tainted the whole image and the vibe of the movie, they have actually now got an American distributor. Now, the American distributor hasn't said what, when or how they're going to release it, but at least they've got that now. And as we've said many times, no matter what did or didn't happen on that set and afterwards, you know, there's a lot of people put their heart and soul into the Deb, including Rebel herself. So you wanted to at least have a chance to be seen by the public.
Yeah, 100%. The Sussexes, they've had a fun day out. This is for Mother's Day.
Yeah, they've been to Disneyland, and certainly some lovely pics that Megan has provided. As always, she is very cautious about the way she positions the kids, so we don't see the actual faces of the kids. Again, the haters will come out and say, you know, you said children should be on social media, but you used your kids, and put that to one side. Doria was there, having a lovely time as well. And yeah, I'm sure that was a lovely day was had by all, with Meghan and Harry and the two kids and Doria at Disneyland. There they go.
And
lovely
Minnie.
bit of vision. And Minnie Mouse too.
So, excuse me. So, Kylie, you've been to Disneyland. Now, the Sussexes have been to Disneyland. That's pretty close.
It is. It's getting.
It's close.
I'm inching closer.
Our
and
worlds
closer.
are close. Thank you, Pete. Talk to you soon.